a bright and sunny or a rainy day, I can listen to K. Renee. Topics of the day: why sex don't match the love, our relationship sucks, why the boys play, experience immaturity, politics and currency gains, economics, Spotify it, you can find it, sign of the times for the deaf, dumb and blind. Don't miss it, call the number one, state your name and what's your interest. K. Renee, K. Renee, K. Renee, K. Renee, K. Renee.
What's going on, everybody? It is your girl. It is K. Renee. Welcome to a new episode, and I am telling you, this one is going to be dedicated to all of my ladies because I have some important information that I would like to share. So first of all, I want to thank you all for joining me, and I just want to give a shout out to you all who are out there who have been my loyal listeners ever since I've started this. So give yourself a round of applause. Okay, very good. Okay, so you do know how to pay attention and you do know how to follow directions. So listen, I, again, want to let you know that if you are new to the show, again, welcome to the K. Renee Show. This is the podcast show, which is full of sugar, spice, some things that are nice, some things that are mean, but it is all based on truth. It is based on my opinions, it is based off of facts, and it is basically anything that I decide that I want to talk about that fancies me and my interests. So if you are joining me and you would like to follow, I ask that you do so. If you go over to IG, you can follow me there at _K Renee Show. That's KRENE Show. And also you can join me on Facebook and follow me there as well as Kelly Renee. I am also on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, The Blaze 94.5. So listen, all platforms are open. Google Podcasts, you name it, you go and search and you put my name in there and you will find my show. The cute one. Yes, with the big smile. So anyway, hopefully you all have been having a great week or had a great week. And also, I hope that your weekend is just as great as your work week. Maybe you had some ups and downs, highs and lows, but nevertheless, we made it. And we also can say that now we had some time to enjoy ourselves and relax and unwind. And maybe some of you had to do things like other household chores because that's work. You know, it's like work never ends for some of us, like me. I'm working 7 days a week only because I'm trying to make sure that I'm comfortable when I go away for my birthday next month in August, which I'm super excited for. And I decided, of course, that when I hit the mark, and you know what mark I'm talking about? Does anybody know what? Oh, yes. Gonna wait, give you a minute to think about it, come back to it. Yes, I'm talking about the mark, the 40-year-old mark. That's the one that I'm getting ready for and I'm preparing for it. And some of my friends are out there preparing for it as well. And this is why I wanted to dedicate this show to my women listeners, and I wanted to discuss a couple of things that we should be ready to encounter and, you know, have a list of some things that we need to, you know, embrace and take in consideration as we reach a new milestone as for 40, that there are things that are going to change when it comes to our body. There are things that we should do before we turn 40. So, you know, I'm just here to just give some insight today. And some of this information that I have to share with you, it's not all going to be good. Okay? And some things you may have been experiencing, you know, as in your mid-30s, and doesn't necessarily mean that you're not not a stranger to some of the things that you thought you would embrace or have to deal with when you turned 40. So some of you out there got a preview to kind of, you know, be able to deal with some of this, you know, head on years ago. All right, because all of our bodies are different, and we all are always changing, just like we're evolving in life. And within different ages we go through different transitions and different breakdowns. And I'm just talking about basically the body. Our body it's like a car, and depending on how long you've been driving that car, it needs maintenance, it needs work, it needs attention, so that it will keep running in a decent shape and get you around, point A, point B, maybe throw a point C in there. Some of us, when we do get a little older, we only can do point A and point B, and that's okay. And again, it's nothing that we can shy away from. It's life. It's gonna happen, and we just have to be ready to embrace it and accept it. And of course, it's just like how we're all gonna leave this earth one day. We can't live forever, and we can't stay young forever. But I honestly think, based on what it is that you feel and what it is that you do, is what's going to basically make you play out your age. As if you keep saying you're old, then you're going to feel old. If you're not doing anything to keep your energy flowing, and you start to get lazy, you start to eat a little bit more, and again, those pounds, they're not going anywhere anytime soon. It's hard to get rid of a couple of pounds as you get older. So for those of you who are just tuning in as your first time, you're a virgin to the show. So I just wanted to let you know that I ring that bell. And when I ring that bell, for all of my other listeners who are loyal to me, and they, again, who have been with me from day one, they know that bell is letting you know that class is in session. So listen, to my ladies out there, and I think I'm going to do a 2-part on this so that I can cover the men next week. I'm going to be 40 in about a little, a month and some change, shall I say. My birthday is coming up September 7th. Just for those of you who are interested and was thinking like you wanted to send me a gift, you could do that. Cash App is K Renee Show. I also accept PayPal as well. But all jokes aside, I am going to be 40. And I'd be lying if I said that turning the big 40 didn't bother me, but it kind of does. As I look at my own life as of where it is right now, and I have a little boy, and he'll be 4 in another week and a half, actually, where our birthdays are a month apart, literally. So he'll never have an excuse to say, oh, I didn't know it was your birthday, because it's always going to be the same day as yours, son. It's just the next month after yours. So I will never let him get away with that. But as I reflect being on this earth for almost 40 years, and I kind of rewind to when I was like, or as I'm still right now in my 30s, I've definitely done a few things differently. And I have, because of some of my past challenges in my life, I was forced to learn things and using new tools, and some of my past experiences actually forced me to do things differently, which turned into good things eventually. So I really wanted to kind of do something to bring a brutally honest segment to you all, as far as what it is that we need to know as women that we did not know as far as in our 30s. So the first thing that I want to talk about is love and accept yourself fully. I don't know how I can stress that, but it goes back to me promoting self-care. Same with the fact that I, know that we need to also have mental health days, as to when we're feeling overly worked and stressed, and you got to go into a place and put in maybe 8 or more hours, and you can't concentrate and you're not productive. And so it does take times where in life we need to take a break. It's like we have to put ourselves on time out. I truly believe if I would have maybe accepted the good and bad parts of myself at a younger age, I would have avoided many of the wrong decisions that I made in my life. And once you do know who you really are inside, you begin to accept and love yourself fully. And once you truly love yourself from inside, you are able to love and accept others, which provides a much higher probability of maintaining healthy relationships. Another thing that we need to remember is we need to feed our soul. So whatever your passion is and whatever you enjoy in life, make sure you feel the need to continue to feed your soul with what inspires you. If you are not sure what your passion really is, try new things and find different activities until you find a few that give you the feeling of warmth, freedom, and also acceptance inside. Find a strong support network. For a long while, I really tried to do everything in my life in my own power, with help from others, but very little of it. And I later realized that having a strong support network of friends and safe people to share my life with is so much rewarding, so much more. It's finding and cultivating new relationships with others that will love and support you no matter what it is or what you find is so important to have in your life. And be authentic, because during some of our, harder times in life, we wear a pretty little smiling mask on our face, just so we can get through, and only letting a few close people in our life knowing what's really going on. It's really becoming an issue for some people as they get older because they don't know how to open up. So if you can try to do it as you're younger, just a word of advice, it will help you in the long haul as you do get older. Once you begin to show others you have ups and downs and struggles in life just like everyone else, you actually become more trustworthy and sincere to others, and you're more relatable. You have to also remember to live for you. The huge part of my life was taken up by taking care of everyone else, which resulted in having no time for myself. My motives, my reasons for doing things, they were wrong, which in turn made my life much harder than it had to be. And you cannot make everyone in your life happy. You can't. And once you begin to make the best decisions for yourself instead of for others, your life will get easier. You do have to remember that you are important too, just like everyone else around you who depends on you. And if you're not doing what you need to do for yourself, then you won't be able to be there for anyone else. So just always remember that. Don't compromise too much. You can avoid a few bad relationships if you would have just more so figured out all of this information when you're younger, how to compromise as opposed to letting someone take control over your relationship. There has to be a certain cutoff for yourself for what you are not going to do and what you will allow people to do to you. Try to do more traveling as well. Get out, explore, see different parts of the world. Visit a state you've always been interested in visiting, and sometimes you can do vacations by yourself, where if you send the invite to others and people you feel as though would be fun and make it more interesting, then yeah, great. And if they decide that they want to decline the invitation, yeah, that's great too. Just let it be known that you're going to have fun regardless that you have somebody with you or without. Also try to worry less. And I still do this. I still struggle with anxiety and lots of worry from my past and even within my present. And worrying, it always triggers my anxiety, and it actually became an ugly part of who I was for a long time. Once you realize that worrying will not change your outcome, you begin to accept whatever is going to happen to you, and you realize you're going to be okay no matter what. So once I try to narrow down my worrying, my stress level it starts to decrease immensely. And when you get older, you don't want any more stress. Trust me. You have to learn to really let things go and only control the things you have control over. Stop comparing. Sometimes, when you look at social media and you're starting to compare your life to your best friends or other people who are just a part of your friend queue and you don't really know them because you're only friends because of mutual people that you all are friends with. But your life is already moving the way it's supposed to move. And if you feel as though that it's not, then reevaluate what you're doing and make the adjustment necessary so that you can stop the comparison and you can do what's needed to better yourself. Also, forget expectations. Don't do it. You have these expectations. You're gonna meet your prince charming one day. You'll be happily ever married after, happy marriage, happy life. No, don't do that. Once you realize you can still have dreams about your life, but with dropping the expectations regarding other people who really start to live your life in the moment, an expectation placed on someone else is actually just a premeditated resentment. So those are 10 things that I wanted to kind of go over, and to kind of help you to use them as tools to know the things that we should have learned as we were younger and to what we're starting to learn now as we're older and we mature. Ladies, we really get it as far as the bad end of the stick because we're always trying to make adjustments. We're nurturers, just by blood, just within our genetics. It's a part of who we are. And we do sometimes take on too much than what we need to take on, especially with other people's problems and worries and concerns. So just let's fast forward a little bit and let's talk about how turning 40 is not really going to be a picnic either. I mean, not only are you no longer, going to be in your 30s, but you're officially not a spring chicken. And there are certain things that we need to understand about when we turn 40. Telling someone that you're going to be 40. If you're lucky, the person will react with disbelief and talk about how young you look and enjoy that. Take that all in. But don't worry, because you're not necessarily headed towards a midlife crisis either. You could be edging toward the very best years of your life. And however, there are some physical and emotional phenomenon that occur when you hit 40 that are worth learning about. So keep in mind that it's not like these things happen at the stroke of midnight on your 40th birthday, okay? No bippity boppity boo, no fairy godmother. No, it's going to take time, and these are the changes that happen before you actually turn 40. So, we have to learn how to cut the soda and the fast food, Remember, we used to do that, ladies, for 2 weeks and we would drop 10 pounds. Remember, I was talking about that. The pounds don't just come off that easy anymore. So if you eat the same stuff at 40 that you did when you were in your 20s and your early 30s, you're definitely going to gain the weight. And instead of investing in a month's supply of Spanx, there are some things that we can do to minimize the weight gain in our 40s, okay? And so Dr. Frank Lipman says that there are ways to build muscle and in turn burn calories no matter what your age. So by exercising and eating plenty of organic protein and taking supplements, you could ward off weight gain. So let's talk about the first thing and how some people tend to have children in their mid-40s because the first thing that changes for us ladies is our menstrual cycle. Yes, it is going to change up. It's highly unlikely you're going to enter menopause at 40, but the average age is about 51. So you might start seeing some changes to your cycle around the age of 40, and these changes can go on for 10 years. So the change occurs. It's called perimenopause. Perimenopause. If I'm saying it right the first time or the second, whatever, but just go with it. And it's the body's way of transitioning into menopause. So estrogen and progesterone, the reproductive hormones that regulate your cycle, start to fluctuate. So the physical symptoms can include irregular periods, insomnia, headaches, random hair growth, hot flashes, changes in libido, and many, many more. The first thing that will probably happen is the irregular periods, and you might have more cramps and bleeding than usual, or you might skip one or two of them. And don't forget about the emotional impact of perimenopause. You might have some short-term memory loss, mood swings, anxiety or anger, among a host of other things. And it doesn't really sound great, but it's just the fact of life. And this just happened to me because I couldn't find my keys and I thought I had my badge, and then I found the keys and then I left the badge on the desk, and I'm like, uh-oh, it's all starting to happen, and I can see the little changes. Yes, I can. I don't like it. No, I do not. Moving forward, there are chances of breast cancer increases. Yes, they do fluctuate. There's a reason the American Cancer Society and the Mayo Clinic recommend that you get a baseline mammogram at age 40. And when you're in your 30s, your chances for a breast diagnosis are 1 in 228. But at the age of 40 to 49, however, your chances are 1 in 69. And since 12% of women in the U.S. will develop breast cancer at some point, it's important to listen to the experts. But hopefully prior to your 40th, you perform self-exams so you're familiar with your body and you can detect changes in your breast tissue. A baseline mammogram will also get your doctor familiar with your breasts, so any changes shown in the future scans will help you with early detection. Another thing that happens is the bone density might decrease. So your bone density stays pretty consistent until you're about 35 or so. Then every year after that, you lose about 1% of bone density every year. So by the time you're 40, you might start to notice. And while you don't have to worry about bone density tests until you're around 65, unless you have other risk factors, there are things you can do to combat bone loss so you keep healthy bones for as long as possible. Weight-bearing exercise and strength training can also help bone loss, and it will build bones and make them denser and stronger. Calcium supplements can also help. Try about 1,500 milligrams per day along with vitamin D. Magnesium will help your body absorb the calcium. So hooray for trace minerals, all right? And if you can, take care of your bones right now. You'll ward off bone loss and osteoporosis later on in life. Let's talk about the beautiful face that you're about to encounter. Yes, you're going to get prettier. Yes, you will, because you've earned all your laugh lines around your eyes, the wrinkles, and they don't make you less pretty. They say confidence makes you more attractive, right? Exactly. So Deb Schilling, a PA, says that women 40 and older are more confident and depend less on other people. They don't criticize themselves as harshly as they are more decisive. And there's something to say for a woman who knows what she wants and knows how to get it. And at 40, we've experienced enough life to know how to cut the toxic people out of our lives. We make decisions on our own. We manage our finances better. And finding peace with yourself also and accepting yourself for who you are gives you an air of grace that you can't have when you're 22 or even 30. Your libido might also increase. So while some studies showed that there's a decrease in female libido because of perimenopause or depression, others tend to maintain that women in their 40s are more sexual than their younger counterparts. So psychologist by the name of David Buss thinks that this is an evolutionary thing, In a study of 827 women, Buss found women in their middle years are more interested in the sex as opposed to shying away. He also proposes that as women produce less eggs, their bodies are wired to be more sexually aroused because of their decline in fertility. So just remember, even though you're 40, if you're still menstruating at all, you can get pregnant. And that's great if you want to have kids or more kids. But if you want to avoid pregnancy, make sure to use your protection. You might also become lactose intolerant. Yes, cannot handle the dairy anymore. Some people have problems with it since birth, but others develop lactose intolerance later on in life, like around the age of 40. One source tells us 80% of African American and Asian women will develop lactose intolerance, and 25% of Caucasians will. And your body makes an enzyme called lactase, and it helps your small intestine digest lactose. So as you age, the level of lactase lowers, and the lactose you ingest hits your colon in an undigested state, which creates gas and other intestinal problems. Yes, so while a lot of lactose intolerance is caused by genetics, it can also be brought on by life events like pregnancy, surgery, infections, and chemotherapy. And the signs of lactose intolerance are gas, diarrhea, bloating, headaches, stomach cramps, and skin breakouts. And if you suspect you're developing a dairy intolerance, you can take probiotics, try other milk sources like goat milk, no thank you, or take digestive enzymes that have the lactase your body is missing. Or you can do the different milks like almond milk and cashew milk, etc. Your vision may also start to change. So now if you thought you was blind, you're about to get super blind. Usually around 40, that's when it starts to change. The most common changes can vary, but many will still have trouble seeing close up, like when reading or doing close work, like threading a needle or working a jewelry class. Some will need more light for reading as well. Others experience glare when driving at night or in bright sunlight. Colors may look different. Dry eyes might become a problem. So it is so important to get regular eye exams to monitor your eye health as well. Eye conditions like glaucoma, cataracts, and macular degeneration become more of a risk. Exams should include evaluation of the optic nerve and pupils. To protect your eyes, use UV protection sunglasses, eat a healthy diet, and treat your eyes with kindness. They're basically the only ones that we're going to have. Yeah. Another thing is that, ladies, our sense of smell and taste may start to change. Yeah, this might probably be the biggest blow of all, because you have approximately 9,000 taste buds when you're born. So as you get older, your number of taste buds decrease, meaning your sensitivity to the main taste like sweet, sour, bitter, salty, they decline gradually over the years, and it happens to women earlier than men by 10 to 20 years. So your sense of smell also takes a hit when you age, and the cells that detect smell die and they regenerate when you're younger. But as you age, they don't get replaced as fast. So the other factors can impact smell, like the body's reduction in mucus production, hormonal issues, and even some head traumas. Loss of smell and taste is diagnosed by getting a patient to compare smells or tastes, and a doctor determines the level of loss. And the last thing, hearing. Oh my goodness, the hearing loss. As you get older, the eardrum and the inner ear, yes, they don't work as well anymore. So this affects your hearing, and since your inner ear controls your balance, you may become a little less coordinated. So what causes the deterioration of the ear parts? Lots of things. The National Institute of Deafness and Other Communication Disorders reports that around 15% of Americans between 20 and 69 experience high frequency hearing loss because of their exposure to noise at work or through personal activities. So you might want to think all the concerts and things you've been at. And I was a DJ for like 10 years with Imagine headphones blasting music in my ears, bass, beats, all kinds of stuff. So listen, I just wanted to give you that tidbit of information. Wanted to thank you all for joining me today. Oh, that is too kind. I appreciate all of you all out there, your love and support. Please hit me up, kreneeshow@gmail.com, for any feedback and comments, any interest in topics that you'd like to hear. Also, you can check my website out at kreneeshow.wixsite.com/KReneeShow. And listen, I'm out here and I'd love to work with you. So if you're a local artist or talent, please, again, shoot me an email. Like to, again, thank you all for tuning in, and hopefully you all have a great week to come. Until then, talk to you later. Bye-bye.